Scrollspy. This component is used to automatically update navigation targets based on scroll position. If we look at our reference section here, we see that we have a fixed nav component in the top of the screen. When we scroll down our sections, we will see that those tabs will become highlighted one at a time. This is the first section being highlighted. This is the second section being highlighted. And this is the third section being highlighted when we scroll up and down the page. Let's see how we create this. Here we have our markup from the practice section. First of all, to use a Scrollspy, it requires a nav component or a list group. We will use a nav component to build our Scrollspy. So here we have an unordered list, and we will add the appropriate classes to turn this into a nav component. We will create a nav component with tabs, so we add the classes nav and nav tabs. Then on the list items, we add the class nav item, like so. And for the links, we add the class nav link. Alright, we want to have this nav component appear fixed to the top, so we also add the class fixed top to the UL tag. Now we can see that it's being fixed to the top. Great. We see that we have different sections down here with different IDs. These IDs are being targeted by our links in the nav component. To make this nav component a Scrollspy component, we must give it an ID, which we will call nav Scrollspy. Then we can now initialize this in two ways. First, we can use data attributes, or we can use JavaScript. We'll start with the data attributes. I also have to say that we must have position relative on the element that we're spying on, and we want to be spying on the body. So down in our CSS, we will add the position relative, like so. Now let's add our data attributes to the body element up here. We'll just quickly create the surrounding body element, like so. Okay. Now to initialize this, we want to add the data spy attribute with the value scroll, and then the data target attribute with the value being the ID of our nav component, which is nav scroll spy. Now let's see what it looks like. When we scroll down, we see that the different tabs in our nav component are being highlighted. So this already works. Let's now see how we could do it with JavaScript instead. So we remove these data attributes, and now we see that it's not working anymore. In our JavaScript section, we start with creating a jQuery function, like so. Inside this, we target our body element and run the Scrollspy function on it, and we pass in an object to that function. We'll give it a target being the ID of our nav component, which was nav Scrollspy, just like before. Now, when we scroll the page, we'll see that it works again. So you can choose whatever you want, JavaScript or data attributes.